Hey, future badass business owners. So you're thinking about starting a dog grooming business, but you're curious as to what it's going to take for you to be able to get that business open. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to talk about the steps you need to take to get your business off the ground. All right, the first thing you need to do before you start your business is to make sure this is the right business for you in the first place. For example, if you don't like animals, the worst thing you could do is to open up a dog grooming business. But if you have a love of animals, just know that you also have to be able to stand on your feet for long periods of time, and you need to be able to do more than just cutting that dog's hair, because running the business, you're going to do a lot of other things, the paperwork, the behind the scenes, the billing, and everything else. You wear a lot of hats when you run a business. So make sure that this is the right business that you can see yourself doing, because even if you've been years in dog grooming, it doesn't mean that you are going to continue doing that one aspect of it. Because like I said, you're going to be spending a lot of time doing this business that you have decided for yourself. Now, before you even start, I want to go over a couple of key things. And the first thing is you have to do your research. And the reason that research is so important is it's going to save you time and money. And we will go through really quickly some of the things that you need to make sure that you are researching. So for example, 3 of the key areas are going to be your competition, your legal requirements, as well as the monetary needs that you're going to have. So hang tight, we're going to walk through these really quickly. Now, when you're researching your competition, there's some things that you really want to make sure you understand. One is you want to make sure that you're looking at both big and small. So the little guy that's in your town, as well as the big corporate companies. You need to ask yourself, what are they doing poorly? This is the easy one, because we always want to point out our competition and what they do bad. But I also want you to think about, what do they do well? There's a reason that they're in business. There's a reason that they continue to do well. So you need to make sure that you're looking at what they do poorly as well as what they do well, because this is going to help give you the information you need on how you can stand out over your competition. So it's really important that you do that. Now, there's some other things that you need to look at with your competition. For example, look at the quality of the products or services that they offer. How are you going to stack up against what it is that they are doing? You need to look at what they're charging, because it's very important that you stay competitive. But at the same time, I do not want you to be in a race for the bottom in pricing. It's not about you being underpriced of your competitors. Your competitors have different pricing for different reasons. For example, the higher the payroll, the larger the company, the more they can charge, because they've created this image about themselves and this name, but they have to charge more because of these people that they've hired. That doesn't mean they're making more money. It just means they're charging more money. So it's really important that you look at all of this, so this way you can price correctly. A couple other things. I just don't want you to be another pet grooming business. At the end of the day, you need to figure out what's a pain point you're going to solve for your customers, and how are you going to stand out over the competition. Okay, because you're not just being a dog groomer, you're not just being a pet groomer. You are solving a pain point that the customers have, and that is they care very much about their little fur babies, and you are helping them keep them in nice condition and making them pretty, and whatever the case may be. Figure out what that pain point is and how you're going to solve it, because this is going to give you a leg up on your competition by taking all the information that you have just discovered. Now, another part of your research is to dive into the legal requirements. A couple different things. Are you going to run your business as an LLC, which is a legal entity? It stands on its own, whereas a DBA is doing business as, is where you are representing the company and you are the company. So one is a legal entity owning the company, and the other one is you owning the company. Now, it's really important that you dive into your state, because I can give you all the advice in the world. At the end of the day, each state determines the requirements if you have to be an LLC or if you can do business as a DBA, and they each have different requirements as to what has to be filed with paperwork in your state. So make sure you dive into that. Some other legal requirements that you really need to dive into is, what kind of licensing do you need to have? Do you have to have permits? What kind of insurance do you need to have? There's all kinds of different legal requirements that you need to have in order to operate your business, and it varies by city, county, and state. So you need to make sure that you don't just go to your city hall. You look at your city hall, you look at your county, and you also look at the state to make sure that for your type of business, because if you think about pet grooming, you could do it as a mobile, as a brick and mortar, and in your home. There's 3 different ways to do this business, so it's really important that you look at what the requirements are from a licensing, permits, insurance, and any other requirements legally that you must have. Now, when looking at your funds, you need to make sure you look at the money that is needed for you to be able to build your business. There's going to be some tools and equipment that you need to buy. Do you need to do a vehicle? If you're going to do a mobile grooming, you need to get that little box van that a lot of people pull behind them. If you're brick and mortar, you have a whole list full of money that's needed to be able to build that out. You're going to have advertising needs, licensing, LLCs, some of those cost money as well. So make sure that as part of your research, you're looking at the money that is going to be needed in order for you to start your business. Now, another area that you need to dive into is getting paid, because you don't work for free. Part of owning a business is that business owner hat. We're not building a job here. So you need to make sure you get paid. So how are you going to be invoicing? How are you going to be bidding? What kind of accounting are you going to use? Are you going to hire someone to do your accounting for you, or are you going to do it yourself? Bookkeeping, same thing. Are you going to buy equipment? Are you going to buy it online? Are you going to buy do it on your computer? Are you going to have somebody else do it for you? Are you personally going to do it? Are you going to pay someone to do it? At the end of the day, you want to make sure you get paid. And I watch so many small business owners mess this part up, where they do it and then they forget to follow up on getting paid. They forget to send the bill out, or they forget to follow up when it doesn't get paid. You need to make sure you're getting paid and that you have a process in place that you are going to use. Another part before you open up your business is the marketing and the branding and understanding the difference. Right? At the end of the day, how are they even going to know that you exist? How are you going to be letting them know? What's going to be your marketing plan? How are you going to get the word out about this new business that you have just started? Now, keep in mind, there's free versions of marketing and there's paid versions. The free one is where you really want to focus on in the beginning. Word of mouth, by far, whether it's starting your business or years later, word of mouth is the best free marketing that you could possibly have. You've got Google business pages, Bing business pages, and Facebook groups. You need to make sure you're taking advantage of all of these things, because these here will get your business in front of a lot of different people. Later, you can look into the paid part, the Facebook ads, postcards, flyers, all those different things that you have to pay money for. But I promise you, if you really focus on a good marketing plan for the free stuff, you're going to find that, for example, the number one way that people find you is through Google business pages, which are completely free. You just have to make sure you learn how to use them appropriately. Also, for some of you, are you going to hire people? Are you going to be a solopreneur where you're the only one doing the dog grooming, or are you going to have people that you hire? So you need to make sure you do your homework on understanding how you're going to hire the best, how you're going to dive in, find the best people, how you're going to train them, how you're going to onboard them. Are you going to use a payroll company? Are you going to do it yourself? So if you are looking at going big from the beginning, you need to make sure you do your part in looking at hiring a team. Most of you are probably going to start off as a solopreneur, either working out of your home or doing a mobile vehicle. But at the end of the day, if you're going to have a team or anyone helping you at all, you need to make sure that you do your homework and understanding what pieces you need to have there. You also need to think about, how are you going to pull all this together? You're doing all of this research. How are you going to put it into something successful that you can use? Now, a lot of people often ask, do you need a business plan? Well, yes and no. Okay. The first thing is you have to understand a traditional business plan is basically used and needed when you're going to borrow money from a bank or you're going to buy a franchise. A franchise is going to ask you for your business plan. And if you're going to go borrow money, they're going to ask you for your business plan, in which case you're going to need to take all of this research and all this stuff that you've been looking into, and you need to put it into a traditional business plan. Whereas what I think you should do if you don't need one of those is at least put together a success plan, because you still need to put a plan in place on how you're going to use all of this research that you did. You need to jot down all of your ideas on how you're going to create your business, build your business, make money, what you're going to pricing, what are you finding out about your competitors. So you still need to put together a success plan. Now, one thing that a lot of people tend to forget is you must learn your business numbers. More people mess up their business because they don't understand business numbers, and they fail to put a plan in place on how they're going to create those sales and how it's going to work backwards, because we've got sales minus cost of goods minus expenses equals your profit. And a lot of times people don't understand that you really have to have a really good grasp and understanding of your pricing, of what margin and markup are, what a profit and loss statement is. There's so many different things that are out there that you need to understand from the beginning. For example, a profit and loss statement, this is your report card. This tracks all of the money in and out of your business. And this is where you really have to understand how to read one of these. So many businesses get these from whoever helps them with their numbers, and they never look at it. And then they wake up 2-3 years later and they can't figure out why they're so busy and why they're taking in so much money, but yet they have no profits and they're not really making any money. It's because they failed to understand their business numbers early on when they first started their business, and we don't want that to be you. Remember, you are running a business. You're not creating a job for yourself. If that's what your plan is just to create a job for yourself, don't do it. It'll be the hardest working. You'll make way less money because you're going to be working tons of hours. If you are just creating yourself a job, then you just need to stay in a job. But if you truly want to create a business, this is where you need to really dive in and understand all of these different things that we have been talking about. Now, if you want to learn more about getting your business open, check out the YouTube channel. There's all kinds of videos that are on there and more that are coming to help you with all these different areas to get your business started. And there's also 2 courses that I have that can help you out. One is Start a Small Business course.com, and another one is Know Your Business Numbers course.com. You can go check those out as well. But like I said, if you even watch the YouTube, we're putting a lot of different stuff on there. But if you really want to dive in and learn more about all these different areas of starting your small business, then I highly recommend you go to startasmallbusinesscourse.com, because we take a deep dive into all of these different areas. And if you like what you've seen in the video, make sure that you click the like button and hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, do all those things so that you can get all of the future videos. And for now, just get out there and be the badass that I know you are.